Just a heads up, we are live. Okay. All right, well, while we wait for Paul, I think he's the only one who hasn't made it over. I will call to order the Tuesday, February 16th Committee of the Whole meeting at 7:07 p.m. Well, before we get into the approval of meeting minutes, I do want to make a quick announcement, and Amy, I'll pass it off to you in a second. But Kay, we also have for our March meeting, do we have the Arbor Day contest? Are you there? Okay.
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay. Will we be announcing those at the March meeting?
Yeah, that's the plan, Andrew. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then Amy, I'll hand it off to you because Amy had an idea for our meetings moving forward, since we've got a little time beforehand to scroll through or highlight some artwork from students. So Amy, you want to briefly touch on that?
Yes, I thought since we are now in the Zoom way of meetings and everything's online, we do have some extra time. And with COVID, a lot of the stuff that our students have been working on in the Ravenna school system, haven't really been able to see. They haven't been able to hold art shows. And I just thought taking, advantage of the opportunity while we are on Zoom and while we do, have access to a lot of people during our meetings. And I also thought it would help promote more people watching our meetings, especially students, to wait and see their artwork. So I don't know what Andrew's going to decide, because he's the one that's going to put this together so that it can be shown. But right now, for our meeting in March, we will have artwork from Brown Middle School, the middle school students. Mrs. McKenna sent us a nice variety of artwork from all the students at Brown Middle School, the ones that chose to, submit their artwork. So we will have a period of time that we will be able to show. So it would be just a nice little break, a nice little thing. And then I also would encourage other council members to, I know Cheryl had talked about, maybe showing, our local businesses. So, it's up to you guys. I just thought we would use this, take advantage of this time. And, this way we'll use it to help promote our children.
I think it's a great idea, Amy. Anything to promote the students and, get them involved or maybe interested in what the city is doing. It's a win-win.
And it should be a simple thing on our end logistically to implement. So a couple minutes before council meetings, maybe we'll go live 10 minutes or so.
We'll also do, Andrew, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but, elementary schools, high school, I'm not just, picking the middle school. I was able to, reach out to Mrs. McKenna when I had the idea, and she provided me with the information. So, we are open to doing with the other schools as well. So I just want to make sure I point that out.
All right. Thanks, Amy.
Thank you.
So we'll move on to the first item on the agenda is the approval of Committee of the Whole meeting minutes from January 19th, 2021. Were there any additions, corrections from council, questions on those? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you. Number 2 on the agenda is an ordinance to accept and appropriate $1,000 donation from Macedon Center Fire Department. This is Public Health and Safety, Ms. Michael.
Yes, this is just accepting the money. This money was donated to us in return that we donated equipment that was going to become expired, and this is helping another community with training, and in return we received a donation from them. No match or anything, just a donation.
Any questions on this item? What is the pleasure of the committee?
Ordinance.
Ordinance.
Thank you. Number 3 on the agenda is an ordinance to allow the mayor to enter into a contract for the 2021 paving program. This is streets and sidewalks. Mr. Harper?
Yeah, Mr. Finney, they were gonna open the bids late last week, so do you have that information for us, Bob?
I do. Can you hear me?
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay. Perrin Asphalt was the low bidder that the Board of Control accepted. Their price is $584,103. The next low bidder was Barbica's Construction at $597,400. We had 2 other bidders. They were not close. So we had 2 competitive bids. Engineer's estimate was $714,000.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Finney on that?
It's great news.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
There's no other questions. What is the pleasure of the committee?
Ordinance.
Ordinance.
Moving on to number 4 on the agenda is an ordinance to apply for a fruit tree planting foundation orchard grant. This is planning committee, Mr. Karas.
Yeah, Parks and Recs are looking to obtain a grant. This is just for trees. I think they're asking for 15 to be planted in the Chestnut Hill Park. So that's really basically it. I think they're apple or pear trees. And it's kind of an educational program. And although it's not going through the school system itself, the grant is being applied for by the city. Of course, that park is pretty close, right across the street from the high school. So hopefully maybe we'll be lucky and get another grant. We've been pretty successful with these grants, so we'll see how it goes.
All right. Any questions on that item? What is the pleasure of the committee?
Ordinance.
Ordinance.
Number 5 on the agenda is an ordinance to modify the zoning map and add the change to table 1 zoning map changes. Mr. Karas, this is also planning.
So this is for an area southwest of the corner from Main Street and Sycamore where the Immaculate Conception Church exists, and then some other property. And I believe the proposal is to change the church's zoning from Central District and then property to the south, which is industrial, to C1. I believe there was an article in the paper today. I think the mayor had some good comments about potential proposal for how this, not the church, but the other property might change hands.
Any questions on this agenda item? This will need 3 readings and public hearing. All right. If there are no questions, what is the pleasure of the committee?
Ordinance.
Ordinance.
Number 6 on the agenda is an ordinance to modify the fence code and add clarity to it. This is also planning, Mr. Karas.
Yeah, so Mr. Finney has put together a bunch of proposals in response to some recent issues related to fences. Overall, I think there's, placement of fences, shrubbery around fences, those kinds of things, and also some issues related to how barbed wire fences could go in. So Bob, if you want to elaborate, you can, but I think a lot of this is just kind of bringing our fence code up, up to date.
Right. I don't have any more to say, other than the one item that we talked about. I have to make sure before the final ordinance, we remove barbed wire shall not be placed adjacent to a residential zoned area, and that it's not appealable.
Right. You need to consult the law director on that.
All right.
I
any
don't
other
think so.
Oh, go
I
ahead,
will
sorry.
though.
Oh, okay.
I'll ask him.
All right. Thanks, Bob. Any other questions on this agenda item? Hearing none, what is the pleasure of the committee?
Ordinance.
All right, and number 7 on the agenda, also to Rob, is an ordinance to authorize the acceptance of 3 vehicles to then transfer to Family and Community Services. Mr. Karas?
There are 3 vans that the Stark County Board of DD is wanting to transfer ownership to Family and Community Services, but for legal reasons, we will take title from them and then pass on the title to Family and Community Services. So we're a pass-through on this one. No cost to the city or anything.
Thanks. Any questions for Rob on this? What is the pleasure of the committee?
Ordinance.
Number 8 on the agenda is an ordinance to authorize the mayor to transfer the enterprise zone agreement for Paris Linen Service to Novo Health Services LLC. This is sponsored by Community and Economic Development. Ms. Wood?
Yes. There was a merger with Paris Linen and Novo Health Services. And so the amendment to the enterprise zone agreement is just to reflect the change.
All right. Any questions on this item? What is the pleasure of the committee?
Ordinance.
And number 9 on the agenda is an ordinance to authorize the mayor to enter into a contract with Bricker and Eckler for CRA consultation services. This is also CED. Ms. Wood?
This is consultation services with a group that is very familiar with the ins and outs of the CRA program through the state, as well as one of the gentlemen in that group was one of the developers of the CRA program for ODSA. The mayor is looking into the agreement so that we can possibly expand the CRA. Mayor, do you have any further to say on this? You're muted.
It's a lot of clicking to say, no, I have nothing else to say. Other than the fact that these people have the expertise to help do this. They are doing it. They're also doing the same thing in baseball. They're using this group to define their CRA areas. And Dennis is very eager to get on board with this. We actually have a meeting tomorrow with the folks that bought Block 9, and he's going to talk to them about the possibility of the CRA tomorrow. So we're kind of moving forward on a number of places with this right now. But I believe Block 9 is already in the 1 CRA district at this point in time. So that's not inappropriate to be doing that at this point in time. Thank you.
Any questions on this agenda item? What is the pleasure of the committee?
Ordinance.
Thank you. And that's it for the agenda tonight. So our next meeting will be March 1st, our regular city council meeting.